What's going on? Eric Zuick here, covering more of your Goofs. Apparently we're entering another continent this time. We thought this would be Euro-based, but it's not the case this time, because this week, it's Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon. So let's bring another continent right over to Sodor and see how it's going to go down about now. Yeah! However, there's already a goof in the beginning. The brake van roof is lifted.
Thomas and Percy are good friends, but sometimes Percy teases Thomas about being frightened, and he doesn't like that at all. One evening, he was dozing happily, but
apparently the camera was shaking, so he was sleeping through an earthquake. And Percy
wanted to talk. Wake up, Thomas. Are you dreaming about the time you thought I was a ghost? Certainly not. Anyway, I was only pretending to be scared. I knew it was you, really. Percy went on teasing him. I hope the guard leaves the light on for you tonight. Why? Asked Thomas. I quite like the dark. Oh, really? Exclaimed Percy. I am surprised. I always thought you were afraid of the dark. I wonder why.
Well, when that question is at Thomas's lamp being crooked.
Thomas decided to say nothing and went to sleep instead.
In the restored version, they had his angry face on.
Next.
And apparently Thomas got moved to a different shed.
Day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see him. I would like you to go to the harbor tonight. You have to collect something rather unusual. What sort of something? Asked Thomas. Wait and see, replied Sir Topham Hatt. Meanwhile, Percy was moving freight cars into a siding. Henry arrived
with a very large gap between his left eye and his face. And also, more unusual,
his goods train.
He bounced.
The signalman changed the switches, and Percy waited on the siding until Henry had steamed by. Then there was trouble. The switches are jammed, called the signalman. I can't switch them back for Percy. The workmen will have to mend them in the morning. It's too late now. Said Percy's driver. I'm sorry, Percy, but you'll have to stay here for the night. Where are you going? Asked Percy. Home for tea, replied the fireman. Percy was speechless. He watched as the other engines went home to the shed.
Percy's face was crooked in the previous scene. And as James passed by, Percy's eyes are wonky.
Nighttime came, and Percy began to feel very lonely. Oh dear, he murmured. It's very dark. Oh, what's that? It was only an owl, but Percy didn't realize this. Oh, I wish Thomas were here too, he sighed. Thomas was waiting for his mysterious load at the harbor. Suddenly, there it was. Cinders and ashes, cried.
Okay, that's racist.
Thomas, it's a dragon. Don't worry, laughed his driver. This dragon is made of paper. It's for the carnival tomorrow. Workman.
Okay, there's actually gonna be a couple goofs. First off, we got some wires that are visible to the lighting. And if that doesn't suck enough, watch this.
Lifted the dragon onto Thomas's low loader and put lights all around it for protection.
No, they didn't. They just put it underneath the dragon.
Then Thomas set off into the misty night. Percy was asleep on his siding and had no idea that Thomas was approaching him. Percy woke up with a start.
Wait a minute. Yeah, what was that steam What was all that steam? Yeah, where did that steam come from? Probably the flatbread. Probably the flatbed, because Thomas was not ahead.
Percy woke up with a start. "Help!" cried Percy. "I'm not going to open my eyes until my driver comes." Next morning, the switches were mended and Percy puffed back to the junction. Gordon was just about to leave with the express.
And apparently Percy lost an eyebrow. Now, speaking of confusing things...
You'll never guess what I saw last night. Gordon was in no mood for puzzles. "I'm a busy engine. I don't have time for your games. I've seen a huge dragon. It was covered in lights." Gordon snorted. "You've been in the sun too long. Your dome has cracked." When the other engines heard the news...
Hold on.
Comes. Next morning, the switches were mended and Percy puffed back to the junction. Gordon was just about to leave with the express.
I feel like I'm missing something. Might not have been Gordon's bumpers being crooked. Something else.
"You'll never guess what I saw last night." Gordon was in no mood for puzzles. "I'm a busy engine. I don't have time for your games. I've seen a huge dragon. It was covered in lights." Gordon snorted. You'll never guess what I saw last night."
Nope, eyes are not wonky.
Gordon was in no mood for puzzles.
I can't figure it out.
"I'm a busy engine. I don't have time for your games. I've seen a huge dragon. It was covered in lights." Gordon snorted. "You've been in the sun too long. Your dome has cracked." When the other engines heard the news...
James's eyes went wonky. So did Henry's eyes for a little bit. I guess nothing really affects... wait a minute. Nope, nothing really affects Duck. Henry's brake pipe is crooked. And the front wheels are derailed. On Henry, that is. The rest of the engines are fine.
They laughed too. "Look out,
Hey, a cameo from Toby."
Percy," chuckled James, "or the dragon may gobble you up." "No one believes me," huffed Percy. "Maybe I did imagine the dragon after all."
Yeah, we can see the end of the set. And the flatbed behind a bed of the dragon is missing. And apparently the cab roof of Percy has been raised. The same with the coach's roofs have been raised.
But Percy soon found out that he hadn't. "Help! Save me!" cried Percy. "It's all right."
Wait a minute. Lamps have been lifted. And that's not right. They're supposed to be flat on the engine, not lifted. That was one for Percy and one for Thomas.
Whistled Thomas, and he explained about the carnival. "By the way, how was your night out?" Percy decided to tell Thomas the truth. "Well, Percy," said Thomas, "maybe we do get scared sometimes, but if we're not afraid to tell each other, then that means we're quite brave, too."
And that's the end of the story. If I missed anything, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. and turn on all post notifications so you won't miss a single upload. This has been Eric Zubik signing off for now. Catch you guys at the next station. All aboard!